Everyone's McLord with a late ban list reaction. Why is it late? It's because I have a job that requires me to go to Paris, a city in which I do not reside, twice per week. And you can't imagine how pissed I am when I see that the ban list updates land on these days that I have to move to Paris. This isn't the first time this is happening, and it's probably not the last. I suspect Konami of doing this on purpose, especially considering how quickly the ban list was updated following the KC Cup. But before I get into the ban list proper, which I'm sure you've all seen and you all have an opinion on, I want to talk about the top 100 decks of this specific KC Cup. So thanks to Duel Links Meta, we have a pretty good idea of the decks that made up the top 100 of this KC Cup. I'm not sure if this list is complete yet. It seems pretty exhaustive to me. You can see there's more than 100 decks registered. That's because players in Stage 2 tend to play 2 or more decks in order to, switch things a little. I can imagine that playing the same deck for 3 days straight might be a little bit boring, and sometimes you want to try something else that you think is also good. I know the first place player switch between Red Eye Zombies and TGs, for instance. Nevertheless, we can see which decks were the most played during this KC Cup, which decks that had the best results, rather. We can see that Zombies and Blue Eyes are the 2 most played, most represented decks out there, which would seem to imply that they are the 2 best decks. Then there's TGs, Galaxy Photon, Shiranui, and Sky Striker. A bit behind, Tech Genus is half the representation of Zombies or Blue Eyes, but I think it's still a pretty good deck. Same with Galaxy Photon, Shiranui, Sky Striker. I think what differentiates these 4 contenders compared to the top 2 that are Zombies and Blue Eyes is the ability that Zombies and Blue Eyes have to play going second, because they're, in the case of Blue Eyes, less combo heavy, and in the case of Zombies, of more resources that they can go through in order to play through Disruption, which is a luxury that decks like Tech Genus and Galaxy Photon cannot afford, in my opinion. And then you can see some more powerful good decks. Mayakashi is there. Shout out to Davide Magri for getting to the top 100 with Mayakashi. Tenny, Evil Eye, Shadow, and that's pretty much it. There's not the usual Abyss Actors player that somehow gets to top 100 all the time. There's no Cosmo, there's no these decks that I thought would be good but aren't. This ban list was made with the knowledge of these decks in specific being good, these 2 decks being better than everything else, and considering that there are no changes to these decks per se, I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity. I know that in my ban list video, in which I made a ban list with my chat, I agreed that Bizuki and Dragon Spirit of White, or Big Gun Machine Gun, I'm not sure on which we settled on, should be hit, because they are cards that give these decks a lot of power, simply put. So, a bit disappointing that this did not happen. I'm not saying we should hit every deck. I don't think TGs or Galaxy Photon or Sky Strikers really justify getting nerfed, but I do think Zombies and Blue Eyes should have been hit. And Shiranui should have lost Samsara, because Samsara is a piece of shit, obnoxious, really unfun card to be facing. It's less about the power of the card and more about the gameplay pattern that it creates, and the gameplay pattern that it creates are dog shit. So with that in mind, we can go through both the scale rebalancing list that doesn't contain any changes for the top decks, and the Forbidden Limited list that doesn't contain any changes for the top decks. Starting with the scale one, I don't care about the Rush Duel scales being changed. I know that AL Tuning Invasion the best scale for the best deck in the format, but I'm personally not interested in Rush Duels in the moment. The Shadow skill being changed is something that I find extremely cynical, because it rewards you for playing 2 Rational Incarnation, which is a card you can currently only obtain in a selection box, which turns this deck into a pay-to-win deck if you want to play it optimally. In addition to that, you can only use the second effect of this skill if the only monsters you're playing are Spellcasters monsters, which gets in the way of the Lightsworn Shadow variant, which wasn't really good, but it was a budget alternative for people that wanted to slot in, Lightsworns into their deck. The issue with that is that since Raiden is the best light sword, the best target for charge, and is a warrior, that's you're not going to be able to get one shadow card back from graveyards or among your banished card into the deck, which means that your window is basically one time. That's usually the thing that you want to recycle. I don't know, I think it's extremely cynical, because you know what else is a spellcaster? What is actually a spellcaster? The fucking Magistus baby there bitch that I absolutely hate as a card, as a concept. That is a main box ultra rare. For a mid box that has nothing to do with shadows otherwise, so... If you want to play shadows optimally, like a lot of people were really playing like a 3 Magistus there bitch. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, so... These are more options, you know? It's not optimal to play... what's the trap that sends from dirt to grave cold anymore? I thought it was pretty cool, but it's not. I'm gonna put a picture of it on the side, because I forgot what it's called. I'm not even sure that Shadow in the name. Anyway, extremely cynical change designed to make you spend more money on the game. So, as discussed, lots of changes, there's ban list, but mostly, well, exclusively Unlimits, actually. Because Konami wants to, like, make weaker decks more powerful. I think a better way of doing this was actually hitting the top decks, so that you, like, reduce the ceiling of the power level of the meta instead of raising the floor. Because you can raise the floor, but it's still not going to reach the ceiling. Like, I don't think any of these changes make any of the decks associated with these cards, like, any... It does make them better, but not good enough to compete with, like, Zombies, Blue Eyes, Sky Strikers, Tech Janus, you know? TGU at 3 is also a very cynical change, because the only way to get more copies of TGU at the moment is to get them through another selection box. Which means that if you want to play a deck like Burning Abyss optimally, you're going to have to spend real money. Meluseek is one of the cards in my video that I said could come back to 3 with, well, could rather be dropped out of the list entirely. TCG language is infecting my mind. And not change anything. And it seems Konami agrees with this, but also this is a main box UR, so... I can't help but think of this as a rather cynical change as well. Starry Night Blast is a free-to-play card. It was at 1, I think it was the most concerning... Like, when I read the list, this was the most concerning change for me, but then I thought about the absolute 0 top that this deck got in the last couple of months, so I think this is completely fine. Especially because this card's like a hard once per turn, yeah, so... Who cares? Galactic Spiral Dragon is freed after being limited in the last ban list. Limited 3 rather, which I think makes it the newest how do I put it? Gives it the record of the fastest a card has ever been removed from the ban list, which I think was a record previously held by either a Gookie card, Gookie Suprex, or a Speedroid Double Yo-Yo. Like, both of these cards were just put on the ban list, and then the very next ban list they were removed. But this is like, we're talking February versus April ban list, so... Why is Konami doing this? Either they realized that the issue of Tachyon was the skill, which was obscene, and just completely bonkers, and they think the card would do nothing, or because the Bizarre event is back, and they want people to know that one of the cards that can get the rewards is in fact super playable everywhere. Maybe it's a little bit of both. I don't know, it's a bit cynical as well. Digital Bug Rhinoceros is a card that should have left the ban list like ages ago. It's insane that it spent so much time on the ban list as Limited 2, even after the Limited 2 list lost all meaning, you know? Even after we removed Trunate from the game and Econ was moved to Limited 1, this guy was still in Limited 2. It's like, why? This card sees 0 play at the moment and I don't expect it to change. Ninaruru and Endymion being brought back, that's good news for like Abyss actors, and what deck would use them? Blackluster Soldier, but is it even the best normal summon engine for BLS anymore? Like, Evil Eye seems pretty good. And is a win con of its own, you know? So, I don't know, it's probably gonna see some experimentation. I'm not sure if this is like as powerful as it used to be. And if BLS makes a comeback this meta because of this change specifically, it wouldn't be the worst thing, because BLS is very, very manageable. DD7 Thomas, that we know, we all saw it coming. This card was moved from 1 to 2 in a deck in which it being at 2 wouldn't change anything other than being able to play additional copy, and now it's at unlimited, so completely fine. DD has done nothing in the previous metagame, so that's that. Simply put, that's all this banlist did, which is, all things considered, a whole lot of nothing. Like, pet deckers are surely really glad about all of these changes. I don't think they affect the metagame at large. And more importantly, I think this is a very, very cynical ban list that specifically focuses on making more money out of its players. Well, not with these, you know, rare slots, but with the ultra rare tour guide, selection box exclusive, and ultra rare Meluseek in a main box. Also, where are the Cyber Dragons cards? Again, it's insane. Like, I think Cyber Dragons have spent more time on the ban list than any, maybe not any other deck. I think like Cyber Angel, Cyber Machine Ritual, Machine Angel Ritual, I forgot the name of the card, spends more time than anything else on the ban list. But like, it's insane that they freed a deck that warranted its card being put on a ban list because the skill was obscene and allowed them to generate an insane amount of advantage. But they decided to free Tachyon and not Cyber Dragon, which had the exact same thing happen, you know? The issue with Cyber Dragons was always Cyber Style, not any of the individual cards. And now that Cyber Style is literally not playable anymore, like, what's the worst that could happen of Overflow being removed from a ban list? Or just Cyberlit Fusion being removed and Overflow being kept at limited 2. Like, what's the worst that could happen? People start playing Cyber Dragon? Oh no! Damn, why wouldn't Konami capitalize on like one of the top anime archetypes of all time being free? I don't know. This is really, like, someone at like Konami must have a grudge specifically against this deck. That's gonna be it for this late ban list reaction. I just noticed that my webcam I seem very tiny today, so I'm gonna prop myself up a little bit. Thank you all for watching this video. Let me know what you thought on this ban list in the comment section. If you like this video, make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys and gals in Non-Binary Pals next time.